Rich McKay.
It's head of the competition committee to you.
Well, I'm glad that's their only job.
Not as I say, not the Falcons GM or president of football.
Or czar.
I deal with hockey and then I deal with NFL rules.
Would you like compare Rich McKay to the president? It just doesn't really matter. He's just going to do what he wants.
Well, I compare Rich McKay to a guy that brings nothing but destruction to anything that stands in his path. Which some people would say that that's the president,
Yeah,
but
or you know what? Honestly, Arthur Blank might be the president, and Rich McKay could be like the foreign leader of another nation.
you don't think he's Cash Patel?
No, I think he's you know, being
Okay.
the leader of the GDs, the
So he's
new
a
Eastern
gangster's
branch.
disciple?
Oh, definitely, he's a gangster, and he has a lot of disciples,
Yeah.
more than 12.
I love that, although I'm having technical difficulties over here, I love the idea that Rich McKay is this photo.
I'm
Because
happy.
this,
Go ahead.
no, I was going to say, this pretty much summarizes, everybody's mood when it comes to things. It's, I'm in charge. This is how we're doing things, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, yeah, that's how it is at the warehouse I work at.
Yeah. And I'm sure that you deal with quite a few folks that'll um, be there. And are you a lead?
No, I'm
Okay.
Jim Pop, baby.
Are there people that are leads that come over and try to tell you how to do something, and then they're the ones actually doing it wrong, but they try to make it seem as if they're the ones that know what they're doing when in reality they don't?
So I have good leads, but we have these other things that are like leads in training, but they get paid the same thing as the rest of us. So the hard R's don't want to do it because they're not doing more work for the same amount of money.
Right.
But also like nobody really respects them unless you just respect them off the strength. You know what I mean? Nobody respects the position.
Yeah.
So there's some of those who maybe shouldn't have, you know, more responsibility.
Okay. That's fair.
Nah, shit. Actually, there was a manager trying to show somebody how to use one of these machines and had no idea how to use it, and I ended up having to teach him.
Teaching the manager or teaching the people that the manager was trying to show how to use?
Teaching
Or
the person the
everybody, for
manager,
that matter.
teaching the person that the manager was trying to choose, was
Yeah.
trying to show it to. Yeah, because like I went in there, we were going in the truck, and it was just a machine, and she was trying to show him how to use it, and then she couldn't. She was like, "All right, Adam, you got it." I'm like, "Ah, man, I thought you was gonna go in there and throw the boxes for me." You got to get your little flirt off with the with the people at work. Not the
Yeah.
creepy flirt, like the flirting that they receive as flirting. Not the sexual harassment. There's a difference,
Yeah.
and it's up to her to set that difference. Read the room, Bucko. Hey, you know what? Speaking of which, I was having a conversation with some broads at the old warehouse today. We were down there working together. It was me and three broads. Actually, at this point, it was just me and two broads.
Okay.
Is it sexist to call women broads?
I think that many people would look at that as derogatory, yes. I
Are
don't
you
know if
sure
it's sexist, but it
it's
certainly is
derogatory?
derogatory, yeah.
Like, I being serious right
Yeah,
now. It's really derogatory.
yeah.
Okay, so like me and you talking to each other, is it derogatory or is it liberal derogatory?
It's liberal derogatory. For us, it's just slang.
Okay. So I was talking to these two broads at work, and they started talking about like when guys, uh, when they reject guys or like they'll give out their number or their Instagram just because they're concerned about how the guy will act when rejected. And
Hmm.
I was like, wow, I've heard these stories, but that's real. Like I've seen it when I was younger, but there aren't many places where I see guys curse girls out or go crazy when they're rejected or
Right.
oblivious because I'm on my business.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting thing because it's not anything that we think about because we're men.
Yeah. We have something that dangles between our legs.
Well, that's not what makes you a man. It's in your head.
Sure.
Whatever you believe in your head and your heart, that's what you are.
That's what makes me a man, huh?
Absolutely, it's what you identify as.
I think I've told you the story. I'm sure you've probably seen it, but somebody driving like an F-150, F-250, something like that. Maybe a Chevy Silver. I don't even remember the car, but or truck rather. But their bumper sticker basically said, "I identify as a Prius," and you know, it's obviously meant to just be a joke and kind of show that, like, well, this is how people sound when they say these things.
Well, I think that's kind of cruel and disregarding what these people are experiencing and going through.
Hmm. And why do you feel that way, Lee?
Because taking someone's lifestyle, especially a lifestyle that's not widely accepted, and turning that into a joke, that's just mean.
So it's dickhead type energy. Is that what we're getting
That's
at here?
Yeah. I mean, it's somebody trying to push their politics everywhere that they go. Hey, look at me. I'm gonna make fun of an already downtrodden community. I probably am a Dave Chappelle fan.
Okay. So a little asshole behavior.
I mean, yeah, probably little dick energy too, honestly.
Yeah.
LDE.
Yeah. Little hands too, huh?
Yeah, probably with size 7, 8 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, what shoe size does it not become feminine in toxic masculinity?
Um, shoe
Double
size.
digits. Like double digits is acceptable for a man, right? But like when you wear a size 9, it's like
Yeah, I would say. Uh, you know, it's funny though. I would have to imagine the average shoe size for a man is probably like a 10.
it's somewhere in that 10 or 11 range because those are the hardest sizes to get Jordans in.
Yeah,
I wear 11, by the way.
size 12 myself.
Yeah, I've been in 11 since like 8th grade.
Yeah.
That's a rough time in life when you're hitting that growth spurt and stuff, and your body hasn't filled out, and you got these long ass feet, but your body hadn't grown.
It's certainly the awkward period in time because it's what normally about middle school, first year of high school type era.
Mm-hmm. And don't come from a family where your parent buys your shoe a little big so you can grow into it,
Mm-hmm.
but then you never grow into it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just walking around with these big ass bolts on your feet. Maybe
Yeah.
not your
It
lived experience.
well, for it certainly is a time in everybody's life where um, you've got these humongous feet. You might have braces or something. Um,
Acne.
I never really got acne. Crazy enough.
No back acne?
Uh, Slightly, but I never really. I never truly got acne. Honestly,
Okay.
everybody has pimples there, here and there. Hell, you still get a pimple today, but like never any just acne.
So no back acne.
Not bad, no.
No back acne's back acne.
No, I know, but I'm saying not bad at back. I'm saying it was if I had it, but it wasn't like bad. It wasn't like bad acne.
You ever have any crotch acne?
No, that
I
that
think
that sounds
those.
like something you should go get checked out.
Yeah, I think those are called warts.
Yeah.
Hey, thank God I don't work in medicine, and thank God I don't dumpster dive. I treat my body like the temple that it is.
Hmm.
But imagine like waking up in the morning after a nice little night with the genital warts, like the ones they show you in sex ed, like not like
Yeah.
probably the real ones that it's like one or two little lumps down there. I'm talking about the sex ed ones.
Yeah. The nasty shit.
Yeah, where your shit just looks like pizza face over here, but you're fucking pizza cock.
Yeah. That's definitely not how you get the pussy. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Insert ad right here.
Yeah.
Yo, man. Hey, Polly Pete, man, how you doing?
We are rolling. Um,
Keep rolling, rolling, rolling,
we
rolling.
got this stuff getting started in Savannah. I'm really, really excited about it. Um, Obviously, as you know, as we spoke about, I've been going to one of the warehouses that we've, crazy enough, I guess we've been staffing for them since 2017, but this was my first go round of actually going in there and working. And it has been
I
an
finally get the
experience.
job at 33, 32. Thank God.
Well, so I've worked in the warehouse before. Like, I was a lot
Walking
younger.
around, passing out paychecks. Yeah, that's work.
No, I'm talking about real men work, um,
Men
tires
cut
for that
checks.
matter. These are
Men
just
cut
boxes. This
checks.
is this is this is easy ass work. Fucking slinging boxes, that shit's easy. You know, Honestly, and the first thing I said was, I don't understand how anyone could get fired from this job. Outside of the obvious, oh, he's late every day, or this guy was smoking weed during break, and he comes in smelling like a pound. Those are going to be the obvious reason to get fired. But in terms of like performance, it's hard. I mean, you got to just not be paying attention. I mean, you got to not give a fuck.
Let me tell you what. The two things you just said happened in my warehouse.
People showing up late and people smelling like a pound,
Yeah.
and nobody says anything.
People show up late every day and people smell like pounds every day.
They might have trouble keeping people though, because you
They,
start to get more lenient when you're allowing that type of behavior, especially if it's which I know that Jeff, he follows all rules and regulations. That should be a drug free workplace.
it is.
Yeah.
But they're a marijuana friendly organization.
Okay.
But you can get fired or written up for coming in smelling like a pound.
As you should.
Well, then you don't have a warehouse, buddy. I
No,
mean,
I mean that's
we're
that's the
we're
way it should
we're,
be.
we're talking bottom up. You're cleaning that bad boy out if they ever made guys line up and put piss in a bottle.
Yeah.
That place, you know. Anyways, yeah, I'm doing well too. Since you asked,
Well, I
I
didn't get a chance to. We were speaking about it. How the hell are you, Lee?
Man, I'm great, great. Was able to get outside this weekend, touch Earth. We had a Black History Parade and a Business Expo downtown Cartersville. It's a great time. Threw a party Saturday night after. I had a good crowd out there. Looking forward to see what we can do in the future. Uh, Definitely got a lot of interest from the locals. Who heard about it. It was like, dang, if I would have known, y'all was partying with the old folks. Yeah, I would have showed up. So you know,
So it was a classy event. Is that what we're getting at here?
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Is it something that Rich McKay would have shown up to?
No, no, no. Maybe Coach Rob, but I don't know about
Yeah.
Rich.
Would
Rich would have
Rod
pulled
been
out a
showing
play.
his ankles, or would he have had on something a little bit better than that?
Rob showed his ankles on game day, so I would expect nothing less from him party.
Right, because that's him in a professional setting. No, he is right.
Just kick the man while he's down. Why don't you?
No, no. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm kicking him.
Nudging him
Rod
is
kicks
something.
himself every day. Whether that be not knowing how to manage a clock or looking up at the jumbotron. That's him. That's him kicking himself. I can't kick him while he's down. He put himself down there. And he's not tying his shoes either. He's just down there.
Well, hopefully he's not doing something else.
Rod should get in on TV. A guy like Rod, if they added Rod to the nightcap, not as a consistent, but just as a contributor, right? During
Like
football
Shannon
season,
and
he could
Ocho.
be like Gruden to Barstool or something,
You mean like with
or
Ocho
how
and,
Bruce Arians is
and
to
Shannon?
McAfee, like some that type of role.
I think Tony Dungy would be better for nightcap, honestly.
Well, he's certainly going to be looking for work because I'm sure that you saw that he got fired, right?
I didn't see that, but I'm happy he did because not happy that he did, but as far as somebody who watches that network, I think that they could go in a better direction.
Well, I think that some believe that this has to do with Belichick.
I'm sure that powerful people make phone calls.
After they found out which way he voted, right?
Look here, I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
Okay.
But I mean, Tony Dungy was bad on TV. They should get Jason Garrett out of there next.
Um,
Jason Garrett might be one of the worst people on TV. Like he has a good job.
yeah,
How
Jason.
pissed off? How pissed off are you when NBC has two games in a week and you know Garrett's calling well?
I mean, I'm definitely not a fan of it. You know, it's about the same as ESPN whenever Lewis Reddick and Dano are calling a game. With Reese Davis, and it's just like, man, I don't really want to hear this second Monday night telecast. It's like this is the perfect time to have, which I know that Peyton and Eli would never do it, but this is the time to really have them as the cast, right? Like, just let them
Yeah.
do the game.
Don't have Peyton and Eli compete against Troy and Joe.
Yeah,
No, no, no. Put Dano, Lewis Riddick on ESPN Deportes.
yeah.
Cause ain't nobody listen to that shit in English anyway. Put them on Deportes.
You know, so yeah, but yeah, I don't know if Tony, he doesn't fit the over the topness of a Chad Johnson, and Shannon. He's just Oprah,
I was
right? I
joking. I
mean,
was joking. I was joking.
right.
Tony Dungy, he's a network. He's a network.
Tony Dungy is a man of faith,
You
and
said
there's
you're a
nothing
man
wrong
of
with that
faith.
either. Yeah, he's
You
a
said
man of
you're a man
faith.
of. Okay. Didn't know his name was John.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Oh,
If
so
anything,
we're
it's a
getting,
really good call, actually.
yeah, no, I think John's great.
Yeah.
You know, I really hate you today because you don't have video.
Say you hate me because of it.
Yeah, because I can't see your face. But I have an idea of the facial expressions you're making.
They're very much on par with what they normally are. I think that's the best way to put it.
All right, man. You want to just go ahead and get into Falcons first, since we should probably do a topic at some point.
Absolutely, hit the music
I can't.
that I Rich McKay came up with.
I can't. The soundboard has died.
Okay, so that would explain kind of what was going on here earlier.
What? Did my sound not sound
No, no,
great?
no, no. When you were behind the computer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I got some wireless mics now,
Okay.
like the good kind, not like the bullshit.
Yeah. Not the
Uh,
not. But
no, you go ahead. I was about to start talking.
well, let's just bring it in the way that we would normally bring it in. We are here to do what Falcons do.
Rise up.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what would be funny if we
What's that?
like shot a parody rise up video like they do in the arena,
Hmm.
and then play that to intro in the Falcons first.
I mean, you definitely got the noodle thinking.
Well, well, yeah, I think that'd be dope, man. But yeah, Falcons first. Where do you want to start? You want to talk about the grade that Kevin Stefanski received in that whole poll that wasn't supposed to be public, but you know, we got the information. You want to talk about possibly having Tua or Flacco on the roster? Us being opening the trade and Kyle Pitts trying to get a first round pick. Where does Kirk Cousins contract stand in the history of shit contracts?
Well, I tell you what, we can start there, but I know we're going to hit everything that you just kind of brought up. Is that the worst? I don't think it's the worst contract. I think that like the results are up there because of what we got, but and I guess that is what makes it one of the worst. But it's like hindsight's 2020. Are we upset that they did pay him? Not really. I was pumped when we got him.
I think that football is covered. Football's covered wrong by a lot of people. For one, a lot of the people that you hear talk about it don't watch all of the football. And oftentimes teams are criticized for doing things that would work in a perfect world, but there are a lot of variables, and each team's set of variables are different. Each staff set of variables are very different. So yeah, it was bad because it didn't work, and because you ended up uh, procuring two quarterbacks in one offseason, and you may walk away 3 seasons later with zero. You know,
Yeah.
but when you're Terry Fontenot and you know your job is on the line, and you're Raheem Morris and you know your head coaching career is tied to you having a quarterback,
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do. And if you want the vet who is going to get every dollar he can, you got to pay the cost. You know what I mean? It's the cost of admission.
Yeah.
It can't work if you don't try. So is it a bad contract in a vacuum? Yeah. But if you understand the situation fully, and this is not me being a Falcons fan taking up for it, because while I understand it because it didn't work, you know, the building changed, and I'm happy
Yeah.
that the building changed. But No, man. Bad contract, but hey, at least we took a chance. We tried. You know, I, we get so caught up on winning, and it's very important. But we see it in the NBA where teams are just actively tanking and not trying to win. At that summer, I knew the Falcons were trying to win.
Yeah.
Now, last season, I didn't think that. But going in, Coach Ross' first year, go get Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix. You know, the year after guaranteeing the job to Desmond Ritter.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Rich. Thanks for trying.
It's a bad idea.
Well, that's why Arthur Smith is. Didn't he get fired from Pittsburgh too? Yeah, you're right.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
Well, I'm guessing that maybe because it's a new staff, he really get fired, or was it just kind of like, well, the whole staff kind of just dissolved? I don't know. Like,
Do
I'm
you
sure
think
he was under
Arthur?
contract for more than a year, but
Do you think he was coming back?
no.
Okay, thank you. So with Kirk's contract, that's the first big move that we kind of made in the offseason, and there's been whispers about us going after possibly two or Joe Flacco. Where do you stand with that?
So I'm not. I'm cool with Flacco. My opinion on it is this: I think that Flacco, and to a lesser extent, much lesser extent, but I would honestly be okay with that. I guess it just depends on how cooked you think he is. I would prefer Flacco, but I'm more of in the vein of I want to get a Flacco or a Russell Wilson in here because it's crazy to just kind of give up on. Um, I can't give up on Penix yet. Like, and it seems like that is what everybody's doing. They're giving up on Penix, and so I don't agree with that, and I don't think that that's the route that they should go. Um, Penix to me still has the potential to be the guy, and I don't like the idea of bringing in a Tua or a Kyler because that to me signals that he's not the guy, and you have given up on him. And I don't want to do that just yet. I don't think that is the route that we should take with him.
What if it's not giving up on the guy? What if it's setting your team up for success and you have a actual quarterback competition? Like, what has Michael Penix done to deserve to keep a job?
Nothing, nothing. He hasn't done anything that would say he deserved like this is his to lose. I can agree with that, but
We've got to stop coddling quarterbacks. You know, Roddy White is still a good receiver when we drafted Leo Jones.
sure,
So why not have two good quarterbacks in the building? And if you have a Kyler who's made it to the playoffs, you have a Tua who's led the league in passing. Why not get a young guy in the building that could be your guy or not? They're already paid, so you get them on the year for the cheap,
yeah,
and you cut bait. Or even if you don't get them on the cheap, it's a 1 year deal.
yeah. I'm okay with it because of that, and I think that that's winning football. That's a winning football move, right? Them saying we want somebody that can come in and win games for us immediately. We don't want to have a stopgap or an insurance policy. We want to win. We want the best possible player to be playing the position, and so I'm okay with it to that extent. And I don't- and I get it. It would be pushing Penix if you bring in somebody that truly is a starting quarterback in the league, as opposed to a guy on his way out that would be more so mentoring that can win you games, and that you do trust in an offense that he's already ran, i.e., Joe Flacco. But um, I'm also not sold on either of those guys as leaders of teams. Like to me, Kyler Murray is not a leader. Tua is not a leader.
Have you
And
have
you
you been
can
have you been around them?
No, but I've seen enough, and I've seen how their teams perform, and I see how it appears, at least the way that Tua's out here talking about whether I throw 4 touchdowns or 4 interceptions. And when I get home, my daughter's gonna love me, and that's all that matters. Well, it's like, well, no shit. Tua, in the grand scheme of life, you've already won because you're paid. But that's not exactly what I want to hear out of my starting quarterback coming off of a loss, right? So that
Yeah.
doesn't
So,
sound like a leader to me.
well,
Um,
hold on. And I'm not saying these guys are good leaders. I don't know, and that's because I'm not in the locker room. Also, they're young. Like
yeah.
this setback could be the thing that allows them to step into that appropriate leadership role because learning how to be a leader and lead a large group of people is difficult. And finding your style and being comfortable in your style, it takes time. So let's not throw them out for that. But also, I think we're giving quarterbacks too much credit for their impact, like their leadership impact on other people,
Hmm.
because everybody out there is playing for a contract.
Yeah.
Every piece of film is evaluated. So that's one thing that's going to have you playing your best or have you put forth an appropriate level of effort. But also there are coaches, there's schematics, there's injuries, there's 22 moving pieces at all times during a football game, unless you're the Falcons and you have 10 men on the field in a crucial part of the game. But there's all these moving parts, and I think we're just placing too much of that on the quarterback. I don't think the quarterback leads the defense.
No.
His performance helps the defense, impacts the defense, but I don't think like the quarterback's being what he says in the meetings and all of that stuff really affects the defense because they're not in the same meeting rooms.
Well, sure, but he's still the CEO on the field, and
Oh, yeah, the
um,
offense, not of the defense. He's on the sideline when the defense is on the field.
right.
He,
And look, I get where you're coming from. Ray Lewis, a guy like a Ray Lewis, right? He's not just the leader of the defense; he was the leader of the Baltimore Ravens. He was the captain. Um, Not all quarterbacks have to necessarily be captains. I don't think Sam Darnold was necessarily the captain of the Seahawks, right? But like at the same time, there was this leadership quality I still think that you could see coming from a guy like that. These other two guys, they don't really appear to have that. Like, and I'm not saying that that's the end all be all. I want my quarterback to throw for a ton of yards, hit guys open, make throws when he needs to make them, and win football games. I mean, that's what I want. But at the same time, you've got this new leadership that is coming in, from the executives down to coaching, and now you're going to have a new quarterback potentially. You got new uniform. You got all this. There's no more me, no more Rich McKay. It's like you kind of hit somewhat of a hard reset, but not hard enough, of course, because we still got Bijan. You still got all these guys from last year, but and these key positions, you're kind of hitting a reset, and so it's like I would just like to have somebody that I know is going to not only hold the guys accountable, but that's going to hold himself accountable. And I just don't get that from those two because of what's happened in their prior stints in Miami and Arizona. And again, somebody like Kyler, you can look at his 2021 season and say that's what we want, right? A dynamic runner that can not only just move around the pocket, but can make the throws. You want that. You want the 2022 Tua when he led the NFL in passing yards. You want that. But, you know, that's 2000, that's 2021, and then that's 2022. I mean, we're talking
well,
4 years, 4 and 5 years ago.
Penix has never done it.
He hasn't really had a chance to.
Yeah, because he was on the shelf. He
Yeah.
wasn't
And
playing
so,
great before he went on the shelf.
well, I like the idea of what potentially what this quarterback class that's coming up next after this class looks like. And I just think that you bring in Flacco and we see what we
Well,
have
hold on.
in Penix.
Why do you like that quarterback class? Because you liked this quarterback class before last football season.
Well, I don't know if I liked it per se. I didn't think Fernando Mendoza would be the projected best quarterback coming out. I was a big guy. I was big on Garrett Nussmeier for sure. He was somebody I did think that could sling it. Um, but no, there's just a lot more guys I think in this upcoming class that it seems like have a little bit more pop, and it's not just the whole Arch Manning thing. It's just more of like I'm a huge fan of Mensa, the kid out of Duke. I think that he can play his ass off. That is the type of nigga that I would like here in Atlanta.
I
Somebody like him.
so to put a bow on this one, here's what I think. Here's what I challenge you to do. Don't let media narratives around positions drive your analysis of them. Like the whole quarterback, CEO, all of this stuff. Yes, he is sometimes. But like, do you think Jalen Hurts' first year starting was running that franchise? No, Jason Kelsey ran that offense. Like positions and captains aren't always reflective of true leadership. Yes, some players may be vocal leaders, but they're not actually doing the work and they don't have the buy-in of the players, you know. Or some guys may be great leaders, but they're leading players in the wrong direction. And also, these are grown ass men who have jobs. And like Belichick says, do your job, execute, do what you're supposed to do, follow your assignments. I'm willing to bet it's a lot more of that than the quarterback doing whatever it is. Yeah, Tom Brady was a great leader, but he was also a great player. He was really good. So, yes, Tom's going to inspire you because he's out there slinging the pill.
Yeah, and I'll quote Julius from Remember the Titans. Attitude reflects leadership, Captain. I again,
But you
and
don't know these guys. You don't know these guys' attitudes because you don't
I
know
don't,
them.
but I don't have to. You can see it. You can see it when you watch these teams. I bet on these guys enough, and there's a lot of not give a fuck I've seen personally.
Well, the teams aren't good. The Cardinals work good with
Uh,
Jonathan Gannon.
Well, look, yeah, with
Yeah,
Jonathan
it is
Gannon,
that.
maybe they weren't good, but like, look, Kyler Murray is somebody that, again, he's 5'9". I don't want that shit in here. I don't
You should have
fucking,
led with that. You led with leadership. Now you're
no,
bringing leadership.
but it is a leadership thing too. Again, this is a
But
guy.
his height has nothing to do with leadership.
Yeah, well, I'm adding on to it, Lee. It's not the only thing. I just added that on because it's a fact and it's true. I don't. He's 5'9".
You
I don't
can't,
want him. Like I don't want.
you can't
I don't want him
you
here.
but you
But
can't introduce new evidence during closing arguments.
well, I could sit up for days and talk about everything. But leadership was just one of the things I want to see out of a quarterback. And to me, neither of
But
those
but
guys
but
have it.
but but, but you will never see it because you're not at the facility. You're not there.
I tell
And
you
you
what,
don't know
I see it
and
in the team. You know what, Matt
no,
Ryan.
you don't see it in the team. You
I
don't know
see it.
who
I see it in the performance of the team. The quarterback
you
is
don't
supposed to be this, and neither of these guys possess what it is that I want on the Falcons.
you are told that the quarterback is supposed to possess that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the quarterback possesses it or that's how teams actually function.
Did the quarterback that you played with in high school did he have any type of leadership whatsoever?
Not really.
Not yes or no.
I mean, he had positional leadership because he was a quarterback. And if you're thinking
And he's
about
calling the plays, right?
I mean, he's calling the play that the coach tells him to call you.
Yeah, but he's calling out the plays, right?
Hey, but like if he ever tried to do like a pep talk or like rally the troops, we're gonna tell him to shut the fuck up because he
Yeah,
wasn't
and
there
not
yet.
everybody has to be Drew Brees in the
Yeah,
huddle, win, or
but
Jameis Winston eating W's. Like you don't have. That's not leadership to
but
me necessarily.
but what I'm saying is, and if you're talking about the good quarterback that I played with, he was a good player. Everybody respected him as a good player, but nobody viewed him as a leader on the team.
Okay.
Like maybe some of the younger guys who didn't know, they just looked up to him because he was so good, but he wasn't a leader. And granted,
It,
he left before he was an upperclassman, but even like in middle school, he wasn't a leader. He was a captain because he was the best player on the team, and the coach were like, yeah, but he wasn't like just because you're in a position, even if the coaches say you're a leader, or if you're a captain, that doesn't mean you're a leader of the team. And this leadership stuff that you're asking for, you can't actually evaluate because you're not close enough. And when you start thinking about the way teams play and the way the team like the stuff that you see on the field, well, it starts with ownership. Like the Browns are a shit show of an organization because they have shitty ownership. The Jets have been a shit show of an organization because they have shitty ownership. The Bengals, they've been lifted to some degree by Joe Burrow, but they've been a terrible franchise for good portions of our life because of terrible ownership.
yeah.
But most players can't overcome being on a terrible team, a terrible roster, a terrible front office, a terrible coaching staff, a terrible owner. Like there's no level of leadership that the player has that can do that. There's no level of leadership that anyone has that can inspire somebody to do something that they don't want to do. So I'm just saying you're putting too much on something that you can't even actually evaluate. And why does it have to be the quarterback? Why can't it be the center? I think the Eagles run a great franchise. Their leadership is top down. Starts with the owner Jeffrey Lurie, and then from Howie Roseman, it kind of stays. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Carson Wentz wasn't a leader. He was about to win
Yeah.
MVP.
Yeah. Again, and just because I have to Google it. I mean, it's not. Again, yes, I am not there, so of course I do not know. And you can take things that are said with a grain of salt. But for instance, I'll just bring up the Kyler Murray aspect of it. Uh, this is Patrick Peterson, who I would argue has been the best player on the Cardinals, or was the best player on the Cardinals during his time, and he played with Kyler. And he pointed out himself that he's got negative body language and a lack of on-field encouragement is detrimental to team morale. And so this is why it's important because he's the quarterback. So that's all I'm saying. Like, and he's
But it
5'9"
doesn't.
to go with it. And it's just
But it
these
doesn't.
are
But it doesn't. It doesn't have to be the quarterback who boosts morale. Yes, you'd like for your quarterback to have better body language. But if you're running an organization and you see you have a talented person and they're lacking something, then you should support your entire organization with what that one person is lacking.
I
It's
tell
a
you what, Lee,
team.
here, hold on. I didn't get your take. So do you want Kyler Murray or Tua to be here?
I'd pref- I'd prefer them over Flacco. I know Flacco's not the answer.
Okay.
I don't think Michael Penix deserve. I don't think Michael Penix has done anything to deserve a bridge quarterback who can keep the offense afloat until he comes back from injury. And Stefanski didn't draft him. Matt Ryan didn't draft him. Nobody in the building who's a decision maker brought this guy in, and now he's also hurt. So yeah, I'm gonna look to bring in the best players I can to compete at that position. I'm not here to save Michael Penix's ego. I'm here to get the best quarterback for the Falcons.
Right.
I'm not evaluated. If Michael Penix doesn't work, it's not on me. I didn't draft him. Not my guy. So unfortunate for Michael Penix, but I'm not rooting for Michael Penix. I'm rooting for the Falcons.
That's fair.
And if and we've seen when Kevin Stefanski doesn't like a quarterback, it gets weird.
Well, he probably, yeah, certainly for the guys that he wanted to draft, right? If
And
it's a guy that he didn't want to draft and it was an owner pick, you know,
Stefanski is the guy. He has more he has more sway in the building than Michael Penix. So even if Penix is a better option and Stefanski doesn't want him, I don't. I want who my coach wants, even if I don't agree with it.
Okay.
Until my coach is on the hot seat, then I don't care. But he hadn't coached a game for the Falcons. This guy might be still renting right now, you know?
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that could be Ren, we had a coach that's already been fired, right? So um, nobody's safe, especially in Ann
Uh,
Arbor.
that's a smear campaign.
It could be, but then again, if these are also real text messages and Snapchat messages, it's pretty fucking degrade. I mean, it's low.
Did you notice that
It's a
there
bad
were?
look.
Did you notice that there were responses missing?
Um, could be. Certainly, you can't count that. You can't say that it was or wasn't. But yeah, it certainly could have been. Yeah,
So now you lack context.
yeah, and maybe in his case there were dirty responses from her as well, and certainly he'll have his day in court and he'll be able to prove that. But
What if your dirty talk got leaked and certain parts were redacted? Could you be could you be made to look out like a creep?
well, but if it's redacted, we're gonna know that it was something there one way or another. So, but yeah, certainly from the court of public opinion, from somebody that's just viewing just that, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So from what I read, it appeared that certain things have been redacted, and that's typically how those text leaks go in these types of cases.
well, we can't say the same necessarily for the Snapchat stuff, but um, because you would see that deleted messages or screenshots or whatever, all that stuff will pop up on there. But
Come
um,
on, it's 2026. We can clean stuff up. Let's not be naive here.
sure, sure. I just I look at it this way: the Falcons did the right thing by getting that guy out of here.
Well, yeah. I don't disagree with them firing him. You know, I didn't even think that was relevant. I was trying to talk about the coach whose name we know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we had
Not the one that was calling himself God, right?
I brushed through that stuff. I didn't care about
It was. I mean, it was
it.
pretty fucking graphic.
How do you feel about Kevin Stefanski receiving a low grade from Cleveland? Do you think it's a result of him, or just that entire season and what that franchise is?
I put more stock into what the franchise is because it's just always been that way. Like you said earlier, they've been bad since we've been watching football, and you know, it's certainly he may be a problem as well. Like I don't take that and not say that doesn't say something, but at the same time, it's a losing ass organization. So naturally, they're going to look at the coach that it appeared, at least from the outside looking in, has done more for that franchise than anyone since they came back to the NFL. It's hard to believe that he's the worst coach from a player standpoint because that just doesn't seem true. But then again, are players supposed to like their coach, or are they just supposed to win games?
You would like for players to like their coach because the assumption is that things are flowing well.
Because DQ. I mean, I love DQ. I think that kind of like Ra, he was a guy that everybody could get behind, that the players loved, but then they seemed to just not play for him when it mattered the most. And so, um,
Well, but they didn't play for him, or they weren't prepared to play.
yeah,
You know, maybe the coaches just aren't doing a good enough job, and that's why they get fired. Not
Yeah, that's typically, how that works. It's
I don't think players quit on coaches as much as we say they do. It's a nice cop out.
yeah, everybody still has a job um that they've got to do, and certainly you can't just take plays off because that's going to show up on film and that affects your paycheck, right? Like, um,
Exactly.
it affects your paycheck. And so, and one thing that we do know is that everybody needs, and for the most part, likes money.
Yeah. Um, but I would say though, my only concern is creating a new culture. Like that's the only thing about the grading thing that bothered me because players can be bitter. Sometimes you don't like what you need. This guy got the Browns to the playoffs twice. We know he can coach football,
Absolutely.
and maybe it's a wake up call for him to adjust his approach going into this job.
That, and I think that the telltale sign will be once free agency opens, how many Browns players end up coming here, right? Because that will, I mean, it's not the end all be all, and it doesn't necessarily just answer every question. But at the same time, if guys come here, he couldn't have been that fucking bad if you want to play for him again.
Well, they
And I
weren't
know that
good,
there are other factors like money and just position fit and stuff like that that can,
and they weren't good.
yeah, they weren't good, and but why weren't they good? Was it because of him? No, I don't think so.
No, it's because of the players. So I don't want the players that they don't want to keep.
Or well, that or they can't afford them, or maybe they just want out. There's a lot of different factors.
It's hard to trust NFL free agency. It's not the NBA.
Thank God it isn't either.
Speaking of, let's talk some NBA. I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. It's getting late.
Yeah, yeah. Here, I mean, look, I get it. Hey, we're both working men, right?
Yeah, where do you want to go with the NBA? Because I'm finally starting to lock in when I can find the channels when the games are on.
Um. Well, we can start with the home team, Jonathan Kaminga, and how we gave them a bag of barbecue Fritos, and yeah, this guy can fucking play, right? Like,
Uh, there's a lot about Steve Kerr.
say, do you think it says more about Kerr than it does him? Because
Yes.
I mean, granted, it's a hot start, right? Like, I mean, that's the way we can truly look at this. It was a hot start. It's been a hot start for him. I don't expect him to keep this up like for the remainder of the season. I don't think that he's going to be averaging, 22, 8 and 4. I don't foresee that happening, but certainly he looks like he's a good fit. And again, we gave them pennies on the dollar to get him. And he's still locked in for team control for another year because he signed a 2-year deal in Golden State. I don't believe it was a player option. I think it was a team. I don't remember, but it was like a 2-year, like 24 million or something. He didn't really get paid, and so um,
In his third year, he averaged 16. In his fourth year, he averaged 15, and he played with Steph Curry. He's a 20 point per game guy.
yeah, put him in there with
No,
Jalen Johnson because Jalen Johnson, they really technically only played one game together out of the three that he's played. But um,
I was just kind of getting back to my point of blaming it like this is not on Steve Kerr because like this guy was averaging teams and points with a Steph. You know what I'm saying? And other players, he wasn't a primary option. They weren't calling plays for him, and he was in the doghouse. He's that good. I think as a coach, you need to figure out how to utilize that talent, and not bury him on the bench and playing people like pods.
well,
You know,
Pods is their guy.
and they're not a good team.
Yeah, Pods is the man.
It's time for Steve Kerr to pack it up.
You think it's run its course?
Yeah, he's just going through the motions.
Well, he knows
You
it's
don't
all over.
you don't let somebody as good as Jonathan Kaminga just walk out the door.
The
You
bucket,
don't yeah, you don't nickel and dime Clay for pods.
big fan of the bucket.
Hey man, uh, he's a hawk, so you should be.
Yeah, he's um he is a good addition though. Seriously, to the team, and I think that you see the Hawks still they just to me they lack and I don't want anyone to think that I hate Quinn Snyder because I don't know or think that he's necessarily the issue, but like I don't know, man. I
Look at the fucking roster. They just traded away Trey Young for bag of chips.
yeah,
When have they been healthy or had a decent roster to be good?
I thought that this year coming into the year, nobody's I'm not expecting them to put up, be the Pistons, be um Boston
Cleveland,
or
Boston.
something like that. Yeah, I'm not. That's not my expectation. But my expectation is to not constantly be in the play, right?
Yeah, well,
Like,
Trey Young got hurt, then they traded him.
yeah, and for good reason. Get that
Sure,
nigga off my team. No,
sure, but like you're creating expectations. You're creating like unachievable expectations. You're saying get out the play in, but your star player got hurt. And as your budding player is coming into his own, they have to like build that chemistry. And that budding player got hurt last year.
yeah,
So they missed that time, and then now Trey's out. Then Trey comes back, and then he's traded. So like the Hawks haven't had an opportunity to really be good.
yeah, and it's
I
it's
know,
it's
I know you don't care. They can roll out a high school team if they have a Hawks jerseys. They need to win 48 games.
yeah. Which again, that's and especially because of how good Jalen Johnson had came on, and I understand that they played better without Trey on the floor, anyways. But and again, getting Kaminga, I feel like maybe that is something that's helping fill that void slightly. Although it's they're apples and oranges, they're not the same kind of player. But
Was
you,
20 points.
yeah, and then you're guaranteed 10 assists with the other guy too, right? And so, um, yeah, I just think that the Hawks they could be a little bit better than what they've been, and every year it just seems like they kick the can down. And I get it, we got this pick. If it meant giving up the pick to get Giannis, I would have done it just to fucking shake shit up. And I get it. Maybe the Bucks weren't going to trade Giannis, and that's what's going to be revisited this summer. But
I
if
don't
that
think
was what
that.
it was going to take, I would have done it.
I don't think that pick and trade was enough to get Giannis.
You think there were better offers out there?
Yeah, and I also don't think Giannis is pressed to come to Atlanta, nor is the NBA incentivized to have him in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just be honest.
No, that's
What
fair.
else? What else is going on in the NBA that you care about? Oh, you had a bogus take last week on K's MVP. That shit was terrible.
What was terrible about it?
You calling it like a bubble MVP?
Yeah. If all these guys are disqualified for injury because they don't meet the threshold of games played, yeah, I do. That's exactly what I meant.
Well, I, what makes those guys MVP above him besides the betting odds?
Well, it's not just the betting odds. It's the idea that Jokic, for instance, who I was specifically talking about, he's having another historic season, and although Cade is playing well, Cade's actually statistically they've won more, but he's regressed himself statistically. His field goal percentage is down. He is averaging like one less point. And look, this is I'm kind of bullshitting with it, but in reality, his numbers are actually down even from last year. Um, I don't think that Cade.
Since when did that matter? LeBron's numbers were down. uh, in its Miami MVPs versus Cleveland MVPs.
Sure, and like I said, I think that because now we're lacking context here. I, like I said with Jokic, right? I compared it to LeBron. It's one of those things where it's voter fatigue when it comes to a guy like Jokic now.
But it's not voter fatigue that doesn't make him the MVP. The what makes him the MVP is value. We're not talking about the best player in the league. We're not talking about the best stats in the league. We're talking about what player provides the most value. And if you take Cade off of his team, they're not good. We've seen the Nuggets play without Jokic over an extended stretch. They were able to bail water. They were fine. They're still in contention for a top seed in the West. Cade's got the second best record in the league, and he's the only dynamic scorer that they have on their roster. He is the lifeblood of that team, and he plays defense, real defense. But
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Simmons and Steve tell you it's supposed to be Jokic because he's having this historical stat season. Even though they all regret voting for Russell Westbrook when he had his historical stat season, I, the media narrative. I get it.
Yeah, I don't think Russell Westbrook's ever been the best player in the NBA. I think
But you thought
Jokic
he
is the
deserves
best
MVP.
player in the NBA, so there's that too. But um, he
That's one to
leads
do
the
it.
NBA in rebounds and assists and is top three in scoring. I don't
Yeah,
think
we
it's
have.
comparable to Russell Westbrook's MVP. They gave it to
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook because he was averaging a triple double. But
yeah. You're only citing stats. You're not even tying the stats to winning or how the team plays. You're only talking about the
well,
stats.
Jokic missed 4 weeks, and his team is still in the top three in the West. So I don't.
So
Is it is it the best record? No, because the team that's got the best record in the West was a team that started like 27-2. And so I
but
don't.
with him missing 4 weeks and then still having a such a great record, that should tell you that he's less valuable to his team.
Well, we won't know how many games the Pistons would win without K. We can project and we can say that we know, but we don't know.
Yeah, we know how
And
well
I'm
they play. We know how poorly they play when he doesn't play well. I think that's a great indicator.
yeah. Um, I'm looking at this. Yeah,
I know
they
you're looking,
went.
but it's all stats. You're just doing stat shit. We give out stat awards.
Yeah, again, and that's why I'm not comparing. I don't think it's just a stat thing. I think Jokic is the best player in the NBA. Um,
But you're not
ag-
addressing value. You've done nothing to
you're
talk about
yeah,
value.
you're saying it because they won some basketball games this year without him being on the floor.
Well, yeah, if
But
you're
it's
valuable, your team shouldn't be as good or shouldn't be really good when you're on the floor, when you're not on the floor.
so that's the same reason that SGA he doesn't deserve it either, right? Because the Nuggets,
Yeah,
the Thunder continued to win games without him, so he's not
yes,
even
yes.
though nobody would pick them to win a title without him. But because they can win some meaningless regular season basketball games where teams are already tanking prior to the All Star break, and I'm sure that both of those teams played teams that were already tanking, but um, that's the reason why Cade deserves it.
I, I am I am making a claim that's why it's valid. It's not bubble. Like
I don't think
Cade
it's
win.
valid because, again, if these guys get disqualified for it
It's the
because of
rules.
injury, it is
No, they
kind
didn't.
of bubble.
No, because they didn't qualify based on the NBA's rules. Didn't play enough games.
Yeah, and
Should
this
you
is
be?
something they put in place, obviously because of people like Joel Embiid and Kawhi
But
Leonard.
should but should you be an MVP if you're not playing the bulk of the games?
Well, 60, what is it? It's 65 games, right?
Yeah,
I don't, if a guy plays 60 games, I don't think it makes any difference from 60 and 66, right? And that's about
yeah.
because Jokic can only miss one more game. Let's say that
So
Jokic does miss that game and then he misses like three or four more for the rest of the year. He's going to have played over 60 games, and I don't think that should dictate whether or not he gets
but
MVP
you
or not.
but
I
you
think
have to
voters
draw a
should
line
just be smart enough to
to follow the stats.
contextualize it.
to follow the stats. Yeah.
Contextualize that. And so,
No, but no, you have to create parameters. So if you're gonna say 60 is 65 is 66, well then now you're moving it to 60. Then what if somebody else says, well, if
well,
it's
no, no,
60,
no.
then
I
okay,
was just using that as an example because that is, if Jokic, for instance, does get disqualified, that's about where he's going to be at. And I'm just saying that 60 to 66, it's not really a big difference there to me. Now, if he
that's
played
6 games.
42 games this year, sure. Yeah, absolutely he can't win MVP. But
You said 6 games doesn't make a difference, but 6 games changes seeding dramatically. Six
go
games
on.
matter. That's the end of it. 6 games.
But we're talking about the MVP. We're not talking about playoff seeding.
Yes, but I'm speaking to the significance of 6 games.
Well, at
I'm
that
not.
point, 82 to 66 is that's huge too then. I mean, so
Yes, but what 66 is? What 65 games is? Hold on.
I don't think it matters when you play the Utah Jazz 4 times.
Well, you
And I
the rest the teams you play are set. 65 is 80 is roughly 80% of the games. Yeah, 80. Yeah, if you play less, if
so it's
you play
80 to
less than
about
80,
70 something percent.
79, 79.2. So 80%.
Yeah, no,
So
I'm saying in the MVP conversation
yeah, bro,
from
if you don't play 80% of the games, you shouldn't be the MVP. Show up to fucking work. Or if you got hurt, that's unfortunate. You can't be the MVP. There has to be a line somewhere.
yeah,
But
again, I get
I
it.
know, I
I'm
know
not
because
invalidating Cade Cunningham as an MVP candidate. I
no,
am
no,
validating him winning it if injuries are what gets him the MVP. That's what I'm saying. I know I'm not saying that he's not a candidate. He is. And he should
yeah,
be. But
the reason that you would invalidate him winning the MVP is an invalid reason because your reason there are qualifications in order to be an MVP. And those guys didn't meet the qualifications. And because you don't like the qualifications, you're going to put a stain on somebody. That's unfair. You have to go by the rules that the NBA has in how you evaluate this stuff.
right.
Because if you try to draw your own context or draw your own set of criteria, then every season things change. You have to have set criteria. And we have to evaluate based off the criteria that the evaluators are using, not our own criteria. That's unfair.
Right.
So calling it a bubble, no, they shouldn't they should have had better luck, or they shouldn't have set out those games that they could have played.
He's not going to win it anyways, but you know,
Well, no, well, he might. He's
he's
got
not
to
going
choose.
to. Shea's not going to miss any more games, and Shea was the favorite over Jokic anyways too. So Shea's not going to miss 7 more games.
Hey, do you ever think that with the gambling houses and the league all being in bed with each other and the media companies that these awards are people are pushed in a certain direction,
Yeah, narrative.
not just narrative, but like things are pushed. Like if we believe that there are invisible hands in almost every other walk of life, why don't we think there are invisible hands in sports, even when it comes to sports awards?
Yeah.
We can see how what was it? Adam Silver is clamping down on tanking because of the gambling houses, not because it's devaluing his product.
Yeah, we know who runs the NBA.
So I'm just saying, if we know who runs the NBA, wouldn't that lead you to believe that the awards are the same way? So the information that they are, the guys who they are pushing may not necessarily be the MVPs, and to like strip away their narratives. and then kind of build your MVP case from there using the MVP criteria. That was dense. I know. I'm just saying, if somebody paid to push a narrative that sways people a certain way, why would I use the same points that they use to drive home my point? Because you know. But again, stats. That's easy. That's the easy thing to look at a paper and see. The nerds. They love their stats.
Well, stats, and again, I think certainly we've had MVPs that didn't have home court in the first round of the playoffs. That's happened before, but that's not going to be the case with a team like the Nuggets or the Thunder, which the two leading to me, without injury, those are still the two best players in the league.
The best player in the league is an MVP.
Yeah, he's already won.
But see, that's the thing. Like you haven't used valuable in any of your argument. You just keep saying best and stats. You don't say value.
Yeah, Luka Doncic is first in the NBA in turnovers, and Cade Cunningham is second. And who knows? Maybe that's a usage rate thing. But then we'd be getting into stats.
I mean, I think stats help support an argument, but I don't think stats should drive it. I'm not going to use stats in my thesis statement. I'm going to use the stats to support my thesis statement. But
Sure.
that's what happens when you put nerds like the computer punching nerds that never write anything in charge of stuff. They have no substance. Numbers.
Yeah,
You
they
brought up
just.
you brought up Luka Doncic, and I think Luka Doncic is some of the best PR in NBA history.
Yeah, I think that he certainly he's got an animal, uh, this beast behind him. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, he made it to the finals. James Harden didn't leave Houston to the finals, but Luka doesn't catch near as much flack as James Harden. But Luka's hard to watch. He's great, but he dribbles the fuck out of the ball. He cries. He doesn't try on defense. And that thing with JJ Redick, I understand the frustration and walking off and not want to talk to your coach and all. But dog, you have too many glaring deficiencies, and that just feeds more into it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and I just, hey, Luka, you act how you act on the court, but it's more so about the media and how y'all cover this stuff. Because imagine James Harden having a shitty attitude on the court.
yeah,
In back, like James Harden rarely had a shitty attitude in basketball situations,
yeah.
except when he put his fat suit on.
Well, and
But man,
that fat suit's gotten him places.
oh, man, look here, the damn left
It's
hand
gotten him a lot of places actually.
that left hand, the left hand gets the check signed.
Hey, so which is more ridiculous? Him putting on a fat suit to force his way out, or him going to China to tell people that Daryl Morey is a liar and that he'll never play for him? Which one was more ridiculous to you?
I think the fat suit was more ridiculous because I think what he did in China that was that was to go viral, and it went viral, and it got him what he wanted.
Yeah,
So
this nigga looked into a camera in China after a GM made comments about Hong Kong and China and told these kids that don't even understand what the fuck he's saying that Daryl Morey is a liar and I will never play for him again.
you
And
said
then,
he talking.
and then he repeated himself.
You said he talking to the camera, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, well,
Oh, yeah,
right. Well,
yeah.
okay.
There you
Well,
go.
at first he was the angle that they caught him, he's looking at the crowd, but then he turns and he looks at, he said, let me say this again.
Yeah, that was a message to Daryl Morey, and he just used it as the opportunity to get the message, to
Yeah.
deliver the message. That's all. I mean, the fat suit's ridiculous, though.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You're now on the court.
And he's put it on a few times too. It wasn't just one time. He did it in Houston and he did it in Brooklyn.
Well, I don't blame him either time. Honestly, James Harden's a winner, and he's not going to be in situations where people aren't trying to win.
Yeah.
Houston went to a hard reset. Get me out of here. Uh, Brooklyn, hey, Kyrie, take the vaccine, bro. I'm trying to hoop. Nah, I can't do this. Get me out of here. So James Harden moves both. He moved every time because for basketball reasons. But he's seen as the bad guy, whereas Luka's just not playing defense.
Which,
Uh,
I guess we've kind of been off in a weird way since then. Do you like that fit in Cleveland?
yeah, I love it because now Donovan Mitchell doesn't have to score 35 every night, but he still can. James Harden does not have to be a closer, but if he's feeling it, he still can. And Jared Allen's playing a lot better basketball because he now has
Absolutely.
a guy. He has a guy who can give him the ball exactly where he wants
Yeah, get him another one of those $100 million contracts, right?
it. Yeah, yeah. No, he scored a 40 ball this year.
Did he? Yeah,
Yeah,
he did. It was like against Portland randomly one of the nights. Yeah.
yeah. Like fuck, scored 30. Is there anything else in the NBA that you care about?
Nothing just off the top of my head. I mean, we're still just waiting on playoffs. Obviously,
Bill
we pretty
Simmons
much have a
said,
good understanding of who's going to be in the play-in at least. Um, the West is a little bit harder to figure out. Peyton Pritchard's playing some really bad basketball.
well, yeah, he's a six man, not a starter.
I mean, but he had that huge game against the Lakers on I guess it was like the Sunday after All Star break. This guy, he's on my fantasy team, and so that's why I'm saying he's been playing really bad basketball.
Yeah, he's a six man, not a starter.
I mean, you'd think that this nigga got the yips or something.
Nah, his 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 rotations has changed. The guys he's playing with, what he's asked to do, and Jason Tatum's not in the rotation either. So priorities are a little bit different.
Well, rumor is he's back Friday, I
Yeah,
believe.
that's what Bill Simmons said. I hope he doesn't come back. I want the young fella to rest stuff, man. I know you love basketball, but the rest stuff, man, it's okay.
He would have did it if it was situation like Dallas, right? Like how Kyrie's obviously going to be shut down or did shut himself down. I mean, I think he knew he wasn't going to play high key
Well,
anyways, but if
it,
they were contending, I would imagine he would have came back for Dallas.
I don't know though because that's a hard ramp up, and you now have to get reintegrated into the team. I don't know. I don't know honestly.
Yeah.
Cause you break the whole flow. You change the pecking order. It may not be as easy as it sounds. Anything in culture you where do you want to go in culture?
Well, off the top of my head, at least, I do want to address the Steve in the building. The
What
start
does
of the
Steve
Steve
do
in
to
the
you?
room. Well, Steve said that he was more popular than anyone but Zion on the Pelicans, and uh, maybe he has a point in a sense of, well, I'm on national TV all the time, so more people know who I am than I guess who would be the second most popular player on the Pelicans. Dejounte Murray, maybe.
Who cares, bro? How old are we?
Well, I guess my thing is that Steve. The idea that Steve is talking about this type of stuff on his programming, it never ceases to amaze me when this guy picks up a mic and he says something.
Well, you gotta remember, man. Steve is Steve. But also, again, how old are we, Steve? And secondly, You're supposed to be more popular. Your job is to be more popular. Their job is to play basketball and be good at basketball, and popularity accompanies that. You're on you're on the worldwide leader every day. You're on Sirius every day. You go on national shows, The View, shows on CNN, shows on Fox News.
Fox News.
Yeah, like you put yourself in front of more people than these NBA players do.
Yeah,
So yes,
Steve's a whore for some airtime.
yeah, so yes, you're more popular, but who cares? They got more money than you. A lot of
But Steve cares about uh, you know, the cachet, you know.
hey, so they go out and they want to get at the same girl. Who wins?
Well, if you let Steve tell it, Steve wins.
Well, maybe because he'll spend more money. I'm just being honest. Like all things equal, who wins more times than not? The six ass nigga that who's in tip top shape, or the soft body, screw knee, loudmouth nigga with a bad hairline?
The nigga that plays in the league.
Come on, man. Like, know your role.
Yeah, Steve. I just think it's ridiculous that he said it, and
Uh, how do you feel about his rollout for his campaign?
uh, not a fan of it. I mean, but then again, Steve is somebody that I would never vote for. So it's like to me, it's just as comical in reality as Kanye running. And obviously, I'm a huge Kanye fan, but
I think it's more. I think it's a bit more comical. I think it's more comical and more alarming. You want me to go on?
yes,
All right. Kanye West is a billionaire. They may say he's not a billionaire, but Kanye West's name is net worth. Kanye didn't have a legitimate chance of winning.
right,
Steve is popular enough to win. And Steve also, if he wins the primaries, a lot of black folks are going to vote for him just because he's black. So there's a voting block there that Steve has. Kanye doesn't get that same voting block because the party wouldn't pick him up. But also, you got to think about who's going to get Steve elected, who's going to fund him. You know, you think the GDs, the Middle Eastern GDs, are going to fund him? Probably.
no,
Not shit. They'll probably fund him. And guess what that means? He
what's
was
it mean?
propped up. He was propped up to be a puppet. Yeah, he gets some personal benefit, a lot of personal benefit, and many more of us would do it than won't. But
Right,
what the hell does he know about foreign policy? What does he know about domestic policy? What does he know about just government and functions and military and healthcare and picking a staff? He doesn't even work in these fields. You know what I mean? So he's going to have handlers doing everything for him. That's my biggest issue with Stephen A. Smith running for president. Not that I don't think he's qualified, because I don't think he's qualified. Not that I don't think he's capable, because guess what? You get the right staff going, anything can get done. But he doesn't know who's good, who's bad, what's right, what's good. You know, what's right, what's wrong. Whoever, everybody in his ear is either waving a carrot in front of him or they have something to gain from giving him for giving him advice. So no, no, like everybody can't do everything. Just because you're popular, just because you're rich doesn't, just because you're good at business doesn't necessarily mean that you are good at politics. Doesn't mean you
Right.
should do politics. We should have people from different walks of life in politics. But just because you are good at business doesn't mean you're good at running a bureaucracy. You have different rules. It's different money. It's taxpayer money, not your money. You have to look out for the overall good, not just the best deal, the
Right.
best financial deal. You know, it's different. So I hate it. Or I think he'll be propped up to be a pawn to get beat by whoever the other side wants to win because they know he's not actually electable. You know.
I think he has absolutely no chance, and that um, he's doing this even more so. Like you hate to say it's a tactic to make more money, but it is. Like
I'll
you would
leave.
think
I
that
don't
he'd
know.
be just happy with the $100 million contract ESPN gave him, but
No, no, you don't get a industry setting contract and then like be satisfied. You know, you got to want more. And Steve doesn't do anything really independently. You know, he has bosses.
yeah.
You know, first take in his show
Well,
until he
bosses
leaves
that
ESPN.
apparently maybe would fund it.
Well, there you go. Have you kept up with any of this Iran stuff?
Not in totality, no. I'm very surface level with my knowledge of what is going on. I think I had sent you something because they literally had hit in Bahrain, and I'm like, holy shit, you know?
Yeah, and so that's the part I just want to talk about. Like, I don't actually care to get into it right now because I have some more research that I need to do this weekend before I'm comfortable speaking on it publicly. But it was a weird feeling, man, because they hit the base in Bahrain, and I knew exactly where they hit. You know, and I used to walk over there all the time, and you're like, shit. And then the other side of your brain, you're like, oh, I totally understand why they did that. Then I was talking to one of my friends who I was stationed over there with, and he told me they hit the Crown Plaza too. And we used to go to brunch at the Crown Plaza. And when my parents came to my promotion out there, I took them to brunch at the Crown Plaza.
Wow.
And then they hit a high rise. And I don't know which high rise they hit, but I lived in one of those high rises, you know? So like this it hits it doesn't totally hit home because I'm out and I'm not there, and the friends that I do have there, they're good, but there are also other people who I encountered there who like locals, you know what I'm saying, who may have been affected by this. Like it hit a little different, you know.
Yeah.
That war hood, yeah, what's it good for? Absolutely nothing.
I like how you plug that in there. Um, and you said it before I could say it, but I was just gonna say, did it hit close to home? But you obviously already answered that, and then I was gonna say no pun intended. But you know,
And shit, man, like dog, I got married. I wanted to go back to Bar.
really,
Yeah, I was gonna try to get me a nice cushy GS job and just live over there for 5 6 years. You know, why not? Single, no kids.
liked it that
I
much,
get
huh?
it. Yeah, loved it. It was great living. I mean, if I lived over there, bro, I wouldn't buy anything off the rack anymore besides like gym clothes.
Really?
Yeah, I just get everything tailored.
Yeah. I I mean, I've never been to the Middle East in general, but um yeah, I am glad though that everybody is okay. Certainly the people that you know that are still over there, but that was literally the first thing that stood out to me because I was like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, if this happens a few years earlier, you know, you can see how it can affect people, right? I mean,
Yeah,
not only just the idea of it just being terrible, like you said, for locals, but when you do potentially know people, you've got loved ones and friends and stuff that are over there, it starts to all become very real.
yeah, man, and that's one of the reasons why I got out of the military is I, I was no longer aligned with America's objectives, and I didn't want to risk my life for it, and I also didn't want to make more friends who were risking their lives for it because I didn't want to lose a friend because of it. And obviously, I still have friends who are in, and prayers to them, especially my friends who are abroad and deployed. Like shit's rich. Like we
Yeah.
have a friend that's somewhere doing something. You know what I mean? I don't even know where the hell he's at. I don't know what ship he's on, but we've got friends who are still in this lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good closing point. But like, it's I don't know, man. It's people. We have to think about people, and the common man doesn't get to make the decisions that go into this stuff. But you really think about it, the oligarchs and the rich drive the policy and drive the direction of the country, and the poor go and fight for it and die for it
Right.
and don't really get to reap the benefits of it. So when we think about like what's going on in these other countries and we're celebrating American success or celebrating what America is doing, think about the risk that we that's taken to do that,
Hmm.
and think about how when our country's doing stuff that we don't agree with, imagine the people in those countries who feel the same way but are victims to pretty much the same thing, just a different side of the coin.
Right. And then we all share in common, obviously, feeling the same way in a sense of when those other people that are on that other side of the coin, that is. And it's really nothing you can do. And all you can do is look at it and say, damn, like, as people, it's just so fucked up. And there's nothing that we can do. But it's just like, this is just the world that we live in.
Yeah, like just think about this. I'm willing to bet any American that knows 5 people in the military would say that they're all in it for different reasons, and would say that even some of those who are in it look at it as a job and don't even think about what you're actually doing, or because the benefits are so great, and if you do it right and you get 20 years, you can live a pretty good life for the rest of your life. That security. And it's like, hey, do you ever think that people from these other countries are doing the same thing? They're joining the military for the benefits to try to get a better life and hope that they don't have to take a life, or hope they don't have to support a policy objective. You know, we're so quick to call other people bad guys
Yeah.
and our people good guys, but some of our people doing the quote unquote work of the good guys aren't good guys. They're just doing their job.
They're just doing their job and they're hoping to come home to their families just like many of us.
Yeah, Yeah, and I hope that a lot of Americans who are forward, I would hope for all of them who are forward to come home, but that's obviously not the reality of this stuff. Uh, Man, no more war, man. Shit's bad.
Nope, everybody's got to line their fat pockets up.
Yeah, bro. I hate it. I hate it. But I can go on for days about that. I've got to call my kid. Is there anything that's smoking out that we need to hit parlay pick?
Not that I can think of, sir. I think that we can put a ribbon on this thing.
All right, man. Hey, great week, and I'm not gonna lie to you. This shit kind of got me in my feelings. Like this shit really hit home.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, you're the first person I thought of, literally. As soon as I saw it. That is like Saturday morning waking up to that. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Iran ain't got weapons of mass destruction either, man. Don't buy that lie again. That's the one thing I will say.
Come on,
We
man.
seen
We've
it.
seen. Hey, look. Hey, I've read this script before. You know, this is simply just it's a reboot. You know.
Yeah, yeah. It's still Bush Cheney.
Yeah. Different actors, same movie.
And same leader of the Middle Eastern GDs.
Well, he's gone now, but or at least
Oh,
that's what was reported.
you are. Oh my God, you've been missing that whole joke on the Middle Eastern GDs.
Send me the context.
6 point star.
Oh, wow. Um, I'm glad you said that too, because we don't want anyone to shut us down if you said something else. But
Yeah, no, we haven't figured out how to tap into the internet on our own yet.
yeah, we don't need that. But
No.
don't need that. I only want their support. You know, I'll turn into fucking Floyd Mayweather. You know that ridiculous video of him.
Man, look here. I don't grab my ankles for nobody.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Look, I want
I know,
support
I
from
know, I know.
everyone.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, Floyd Mayweather, he grabs his ankles. So
Well, and look, clearly, which, and I'll just really quickly before we get out of here. Um, I didn't get to watch it, and maybe I will tomorrow at some point because I'm probably just gonna go to bed. But um, Whitlock, he said Floyd's going broke, and that's
everybody.
why he's doing the fight, of course, with Pacquiao. Um, and I think we all know, especially on Twitter, the running joke is that that's a recession indicator.
Hey, are you really going broke if you can go pop up out of the bed and make that much money?
No, but then again, going broke or not, who turns it down?
Right. So he
Maybe
could be
Terrence
going.
Crawford does because he said he would, but
He may be going broke, but you're not like people are trying to knock him for being financially irresponsible. If you can make that much money that quickly, that doesn't too much deviate from your lifestyle, who cares?
yeah,
He's gonna a Tyson exhibition and a real Pacquiao fight. 2 fights, he's gonna make well over $100 million, probably
yeah,
multi-$100 million.
yes.
Yeah, that's not going broke. Yeah, like
I wonder how much he's getting for the Tyson fight. We know that the Pacquiao one's going to pay more, but
enough to get Mike Tyson out to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, Floyd can always consult and give lessons at a very high rate, or or mentor boxers. You know what I'm saying? Like him going broke ain't the regular American going broke.
Yeah.
Kind of like Kanye. Is Kanye going broke when they say he's going broke when he can just put out something on his website and it's gonna crash? Name the price people are gonna pay for it because Ye made it.
Yeah.
He has,
These
he has
guys,
real
they
fans.
print money.
Yeah, like, but that's what happens when you have like real reach. You know what I'm saying? It's not internet stuff. It's not like academics.
That's called making it
That's the
financially, at
goal.
least.
Hey, last thing. Would you say that Kanye is more free than Jay Z?
More free than Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he says and does what he wants.
You don't think Jigga says and does what he wants?
I think that Jay-Z uses channels to get through what he wants to get out. Kanye will just kind of say what he wants to say, and there's a method to his madness. Like I 100% believe maybe he did actually feel that way too, but like that he did all this so he could get out of those deals with like a deal. Like I think he wanted out of the deals because
I
nobody
don't
would
think.
commit financial suicide like that.
I don't think Kanye is nearly as crazy as people say he is, and I've been saying that. And the more and more time passes, it kind of seems that way. And yeah, Kanye is free because he gets to do what he wants, and yeah, he gets to do what he wants. And it's not, the crazy thing, it's not even necessarily about being rich. There are poor people who are free, there are middle class people who are free, there are rich people who are free. It's just the lifestyle that you want to live and your ability to maintain it while doing what you want.
Exactly, and he's cracked that code.
Yeah, but hey, let's crack the code on this podcast.
Same time next week.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty then. Good show. Salutations, good people. Thank you for those that are viewing. I see we got 2 viewers currently, at least on this. We appreciate the viewership as always, and we'll be back next week.
Hey, like, rate, subscribe, review. Thanks. All right, probably be.
All right, Lee. Signing off as Rich McKay.
All right, Rich.